Welcome to Waterloo Warbirds, and congratulations on selecting the Mikoyan MiG-15 for your ride today. We are very confident that you will enjoy your flight and leave with memories that will last a lifetime. But prior to flying in the MiG today, we have a passenger briefing video for you to watch that will cover Transport Canada mandatory briefing items, as well as information that will familiarize you with being a passenger in the MiG-15 and safety-related subjects. Enjoy the video, and please ask your passenger coordinator or any Waterloo Warbird crew member any questions you may have at any time. Our goal is to provide you with the best and safest flying experience possible. During your flight today, you will be wearing a seat pack parachute. The parachute is similar to a backpack, but also has a seat cushion you will be sitting on while in the aircraft. When donning the parachute, you will put it on by putting one arm through at a time. Next, connect the chest strap by clipping each end of the strap together. You will then reach down between your legs and pull the leg straps to your hips, where you will secure them on either leg. After the straps are all connected, ensure that they are pulled tight. Your passenger coordinator will ensure that your parachute has been properly put on. Once it is on, you will be briefed on the use of the parachute. At the conclusion of this video, you will be redirected to view a video from Strong Parachutes, the manufacturer of the parachute used in our MiG, that will reinforce the procedures for the wearing and use of the parachute. Once you have test fitted the parachute outside the aircraft and adjusted the straps to comfortably fit you, you will remove it and the parachute will be placed inside the aircraft. You will put it on when you have entered the rear cockpit of the aircraft. To enter the rear cockpit, you will use the left side of the aircraft. You will climb the ladder provided and stand on the left wing of the aircraft. Please make sure you only stand on the black area of the wing. Once standing on the wing, you will grasp the cockpit fairing in between the front and rear cockpit with your left hand and also hold the top of the rear canopy with your right hand. You will then step into the rear cockpit with your right foot, stepping onto the rear seat. Next, you will bring your left foot into the rear cockpit and land it on the floor of the cockpit to the left of the rear control column. You will then take your right hand and grasp the cockpit fairing in between the front and rear cockpits beside where your left hand is already. You can then step down with your right foot and place it on the floor of the rear cockpit to the right of the rear control column. You can now sit down. Your passenger coordinator will then assist you in strapping on your parachute and the seatbelt harness. To exit the aircraft, you will first disengage the seatbelt harness and then the parachute. Stand and then turn facing away from the exit. Grasp the fairing in between the cockpits with your left hand and the top of the rear canopy with your right. Next, lift your left leg up and over the fuselage side and place it on the left wing. Once your left leg is firmly planted, lift your right leg up and back out over the side of the aircraft and bring it down on the black wing matting. When climbing down from the wing, be sure to use the ladder provided. Once comfortably seated, you will secure yourself into your seat by use of the 5-point harness. Bring the right and left lap belts to your belly area and the 2 shoulder straps over your shoulders to the front of your body. Raise your collar on your flight suit over your shoulder straps. You will then take the left shoulder belt and secure it onto the left lap belt. Next, take the negative G strap and secure it onto the left lap belt. Then, take the right shoulder belt and secure it onto the left lap belt. Finally, take the right lap belt and attach the locking mechanism by feeding the left lap belt into the holder and then pressing down on the handle. Pull the belts tight, starting with the lap belts and then the negative G strap and lastly the shoulder straps. You are now buckled into the aircraft and the harness should look like this. In order to release the harness, pull up on the locking mechanism and the straps should fall away. Your passenger coordinator will be monitoring you as you secure the harness and will confirm that your belt is secure. Once you are seated in the rear cockpit, your passenger coordinator will have you demonstrate how to close and open the canopy. The red knob on the right side of your canopy, when pushed forward, will allow you to slide the canopy to the fully closed position. It is important to note that the rear canopy must be fully closed during landings and takeoffs. To open the canopy, either after landing or in an emergency situation, grasp and pull the left knob at the front of the canopy. Be aware that the canopy is heavy and will need a significant tug to get it moving. During your flight, you will be wearing a helmet. The helmet and microphone will allow you to communicate with your pilot. To speak to your pilot, all you need to do is talk normally into the microphone. It is important for you to know that you will also hear air traffic control communication. Do not speak to your pilot when you hear this. It may be necessary for you to wait a few seconds for air traffic communication to conclude before talking. We encourage you to speak to your pilot and share any concerns or observations that you may have during your flight. Located directly in front of you is the control stick. During your flight, the stick will move in all directions. In addition, the rudder pedals located at your feet will move back and forth during all ground movement and while in the air. It is very important that you keep your hands and feet away from the flight control at all times, unless instructed otherwise by the pilot. In addition, do not touch any other flight controls in the rear cockpit unless specifically requested to do so by the pilot. During your flight, the pilot may offer for you to fly the plane. This will be discussed prior to your flight. However, it is important that when this occurs, proper communication of exchange of control takes place. To take control of the aircraft, you must have your right hand on the control column situated between your legs in front of you. This is done by the pilot saying, "You have control." You as a passenger will then say, "I have control." You are now flying the aircraft. When the pilot takes control back, he will say, "I have control," and then you will say, "You have control." The pilot is now flying the aircraft. You should now release the control column. In front of you there is a panel which has instruments that may be of interest to you. There is an altimeter that indicates altitude and an airspeed gauge that lets you know your indicated airspeed. There may be some instruments that are tagged as inoperative, so if they are not moving in flight, please do not worry. There is a fire extinguisher in the aircraft located in the front canopy area. A first aid kit is located in the nose section of the MiG. Air sickness during flight can happen to anyone at any time. There are vomit bags located in a rack to the right of your seat. Should you feel unwell, please tell your pilot at your earliest opportunity and retrieve a bag so as to be prepared for sickness if it happens. We hope you've enjoyed the MiG-15 passenger briefing video. Please remember to ask your passenger coordinator any questions you have. We are here to assist you every step of the way to ensure that you have an amazing flying experience. Please stand by for a video from Strong Parachutes, reinforcing the chute training that you have already had in this video. After we finish that, Teper letim, which means in Russian, let's go fly.
Have you ever wondered how your parachute actually works? When you pull the ripcord, a spring-loaded pilot chute, which is really just a small circular starter parachute, is launched into the air. The flow of air through it allows it to drag and act like an anchor to start the deployment of the reserve parachute. The parachute is pulled out from the top in one long sleeve shape, and the lines are extracted from the container. Then the parachute opens and you transition to sitting upright underneath the canopy. On the two black V-shaped risers near your head are toggles, which are used for steering.
As far as using the parachute and using the systems, accompanied with the parachute. Very simple.
How to open your parachute. The ripcord handle is located near the chest strap on the wearer's left front of the harness. The key is to look, reach, pull. Look at the ripcord handle rather than fumble or tug on the harness fitting. Beneath the fabric cover, the ripcord handle is held in place by a pocket. Look at it first because it may have been dislodged by your exit. Reach over and grab it with both hands, or typically with your right hand and left thumb, and pull. Yank it hard. There is no time to be gentle. Actually pulling, which uses the muscles in your forearms, is not as effective as pushing, which takes advantage of your upper arm strength.
The D-ring, I made sure that I pulled, when I practiced pulling the chute, before I got in the airplane, I always practice pushing it at full arm's length. I don't know where the chute disengaged. I don't know, and I let go of the D-ring, so I didn't hold on to it.
If it doesn't come free on the first pull, check it to make sure it is the handle in your hand, not some other piece of hardware. Back the handle up to the housing to create slack in the cable, then punch it out again. The entire cable assembly should come completely out of the housing. To reduce the pull force, push the handle in the direction that the protective ripcord housing points, rather than straight out from your chest. By having both hands together on the handle, you also reduce the chance of the canopy or lines entangling with an extended limb. Keep your feet together for the same reason. Body position is secondary to pulling. Remember to look, reach, pull.
The release of the chute was immediate, and from the time that I released it to the time it opened, obviously I wasn't counting or keeping track, but I was surprised at how quickly it worked. It was very quick and very comforting. You could see the stuff unfurling over your head in almost instantly. It makes a nice big pop and just instantly slows your descent. It's very comfortable.
Did you know? Typically, it takes about 2 to 3 seconds from ripcord pull to fully inflated canopy, traveling a vertical distance of 150 to 300 feet.